Welcome to Toya Talks Wrestling. Today I'm going to talk about what happened on Raw. Now, Raw last night, October 14th, 2024, was pre-recorded, so it wasn't live. I think the reason why it wasn't live because they are in the UK this week, so that's why it wasn't live. It'll be live next week, but you can totally tell it was a pre-recorded show. Anyways, there's a few things that happened. I guess it's worth talking about. The show itself is pretty much meh, but I'm gonna go ahead and talk about some of these things because it does have to do with things that are gonna happen in the future PLE of Crown Jewel. So we had Rhea Ripley come out and she pretty much called out Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez to the ring, but instead of Liv and Raquel, she got Tiffany Stratton instead. And basically, Tiffany Stratton just came to send a message to Rhea from Nia, basically telling her to stay out of her business or she's going to have a problem, a real big problem, and emphasize the word big. And Rhea Ripley was like telling Tiffany, like, you know what? I don't care. I don't have to deal with. I don't want to deal with you right now. I'm trying to get Liv and Raquel, but if you keep getting in my way, I'm gonna welcome you to Raw, Rhea Ripley style, and everything else. And they pretty much dropped the mics, and then they were standing like facing each other, and they had like pushed each other and shoved each other, and then Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez came and jumped them from behind, and pretty much got the best of them, and Raquel got, Tiffany, and then Liv Morgan hit Rhea Ripley with the briefcase, Tiffany's briefcase, obviously, and, they stood tall and everything else. This was like in the beginning of the show. And then Rhea Ripley goes up to Adam Pearce and says she wants a match with Liv and Raquel, and, Pearce is like, sure, you can have your match, but you need a tag team partner. You can't do it by yourself. And she was obviously saying, no, I can do it by myself. And then here comes Tiffany. You can pretty much see where I'm going with this, right? So, anyways, this was the main event match. You have Tiffany and Rhea versus Liv and Raquel. The match ended with a disqualification because Nia Jax pretty much came in, and I don't know if she hit Raquel or Rhea. She hit one of them. She hit both of them. I don't know. She pretty much Nia Jax threw Raquel into the ring post a couple of times, and then she went into the ring to go help Tiffany up from the because Tiffany was laid out on the mat, so she helped Tiffany up. Here comes Rhea Ripley. She headbutts Nia Jax and was about to do the riptide on Nia Jax when Liv Morgan comes and pretty much, chops her in the knee, which had made Nia Jax land on Rhea Ripley. Then Nia Jax rolled off Rhea Ripley, and then Liv Morgan pretty much beat Rhea Ripley, out of the ring, because she was beating Rhea as Rhea was rolling out towards the ring, and she falls out the ring, and here comes Nia Jax, headbutts Liv Morgan, gives Liv Morgan a tsunami, and then an annihilator, and then tells Tiffany to go get the briefcase and go cash in, because, it was a perfect opportunity. Everybody was laid out. So, Tiffany Stratton goes, and she gets her briefcase, and she's about to go cash in, and here comes Dom for the save, and he saves Liv Morgan by pulling her out of the ring. They go up the rope, and they end it with Tiffany and Nia Jax taunting Liv Morgan with like the briefcase. It would have been interesting to see if that would have actually happened, if she would have actually cashed in, because it would have been interesting to see what would happen at Crown Jewel when they went with the Nia Jax versus Tiffany Stratton. But obviously that's not gonna happen. But I think this whole thing is just for the whole Crown Jewel thing and everything else. And it's like, I see what they're doing here, but it's like, at the end of the day, I don't think anybody cares. And also, this feud between Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley needs to end. It needs to end now. It's becoming like, okay, like we had to have this pause for Crown Jewel. Which is fine, I guess, but like, yeah, it totally just needs to end. It needs to be over. But that is that. Speaking of Crown Jewel, let's just keep the momentum going here. Cody Rhodes makes his appearance on Raw. By the way, Raw was in St. Louis, Missouri, and Cody Rhodes talked about how the chant "We Want Cody" started for WrestleMania when, you know, The Rock came in and tried to take over and everything else. So it started in St. Louis, and he talks about that, and he thanked the crowd and everything else. Then he asked the crowd, you know, his line, what do you want to talk about? And then here comes Gunther. Gunther comes out, and Gunther pretty much told Cody, like, you know, I don't really have nothing bad to say about you. You know, you're a workhorse, you're a champion, you're the quarterback, you know, this whole WWE's on your back and everything else. You've been doing a great job. I don't have a problem with you. I don't have nothing to say bad about you. Well, maybe one thing. You want to be everybody's darling. You're everybody's friend, which makes you nobody's friend, which is probably why you're in the situation you're in with Kevin Owens right now. It's like your downfall. Which, by the way, side note, this will be Cody Rhodes' downfall because he's nice to everybody. It's going to cost him his title. But that being said, Cody Rhodes, so Gunther said that was Cody Rhodes' weakness. Cody Rhodes said that was his strength. Then Cody Rhodes is like, you know, he pretty much told, like, Gunther, I know your weakness. You hate when people keep coming back and never give up and stuff like that. I saw WrestleMania. I saw the match with Sami Zayn and everything else. You break. So, and then Cody Rhodes talks about how he defeated the best championship in modern day history. True. And how he conquered a beast. Which I'm guessing he's talking about Brock Lesnar. But yeah. So they talked about that. Back and forth and everything else. They didn't really fight or anything else, you know. It ended with, you know, Cody Rhodes and Gunther shaking hands and Gunther saying good luck to me, you know, and everything else. They're gonna be the champion or something like that, and then they leave the ring, and that was pretty much it. I think this match is gonna be incredible. I think it's gonna be great. I think it would have been even better if there was an actual storyline. I'm pretty sure they're gonna have some couple of moments and everything else, and they're gonna try to build something, but it's not gonna be the same. It's just not gonna be the same. It's just gonna be okay. It's gonna be a great match though. I have no doubt in my mind that this match is going to be fire. But man, could imagine they got some sort of a backstory because they, you know, back-to-back Royal Rumbles and stuff like that, but still, who cares? Anyways, another thing that happened at Raw, the War Raiders are back. You probably know them as the Viking Raiders, but they got their old name back from NXT and their old theme song, so they're back and there's a what do you call it? The hell is called? Shit. Oh, I'm sorry, got brain freeze for a second. They're in a tournament for the number one contender to go against Judgment Day's Finn Balor and JD for their tag titles. So they went up against Alpha Academy and beat Alpha Academy in like 2 minutes. Glad to see them back. You know, speaking of Alpha Academy, like they really dropped the ball on Otis. There was so much potential there. I don't know what happened. It's really sad, but and I don't know who else is in this tournament. I think the New Day's in it. I think LWO's Rey Mysterio's, maybe Dragon Lee. I'm not sure who's in this tournament and everything else like that. Not even sure, but doesn't matter. I don't know when that tournament's going to be, but we'll see. Next thing I want to talk about is the Miz, Truth, and the Final Testament, and probably the Wyatt Six. And I'll explain everything right now. Miz and R-Truth had a match at Raw, and R-Truth pretty much won with a roll-up pin when the Final Testament came out to watch the match or something, and Miz was looking at the Final Testament, and when he was looking at the Final Testament, R-Truth, rolled him up for the pin. He got the win, and he was, he gave Miz a hug, and he got out the ring, and he was like telling, Karrion Kross was like smiling, like congratulations, and then he told the AOP to grab the Miz, and the Miz, and not the Miz, grabbed R-Truth, and R-Truth got thrown back into the ring, where the Miz did a scorching finale on him and ended up like that. And the reason why I mentioned the Wyatt Six is because last week when the Miz was talking, there was a symbol for the Wyatt Six, they have like the with the glitch thing, and it happened again before, like before the bell rang, or when the bell rang, or before the bell rang, I don't remember. Anyway, when they were in the ring, when they were about to fight, they had the other little glitch Wyatt Six symbol sound thing. So my guess is that the Wyatt Six is coming after the Miz for pretty much, dropping R-Truth and treating R-Truth bad or whatever like that. And I'm guessing that maybe the Miz is going to get help from the Final Testament. So it'll be like the Miz and the Final Testament versus like the Wyatt Six. I can see that being a thing. I don't know when this is going to happen, but let's just say maybe in the next few weeks that the Miz will probably be getting a visitor from the Wyatt Six. So it should be interesting. So the final thing that I would like to talk about, it's kind of a 2-for-1 here, because it all connects together. So Bron Breakker had a video package explaining why he pretty much attacked Jey Uso after like the prior week before he congratulated him and everything else. And basically he said the reason why he did what he did was because that he told Jey Uso that he respected him and everything else, but Jey Uso did not return the favor and say that he respected Bron Breakker, and he found that very he took offense to that, and that's why he did what he did. Anyways, later on, Bron Breakker had a match with Kofi Kingston. Bron Breakker ends up winning that match with Kofi Kingston. Now, at the time, Xavier Woods was not at ringside, because I think Xavier Woods was a little bit upset at Kofi Kingston, because Kofi Kingston keeps making all the plays, even though he told Xavier Woods that he's the quarterback. He keeps giving all these plays. I think they got a little bit upset, but anyways, after the match, Bron Breakker was going to go attack Kofi, but here comes Xavier Woods for the save, and you gotta watch out for Bron Breakker. You gotta make sure he's leaving the building, right? You gotta watch him like a hawk, right? Because as soon as you turn your back on him, there he is, right? So that's pretty much what happened. He starts attacking Xavier Woods, and then here comes Jey Uso, and Jey Uso comes in and pretty much makes the save for Bron Breakker, a spear, and eventually a super kick off the apron. As this is happening, you see another scene where Jey Uso is going, and he's going towards his locker room. And you remember when I told you yesterday in my other video, I don't know if you watched it or not, you should have. We're talking about SmackDown, and I talked about how Jimmy was probably going to go to Raw, and probably going to go try to talk to Jay, and stuff like that. Well, that's what happened. Jey Uso opened up his locker room to find Jimmy Uso in the locker room, and Jimmy Uso basically asked to, if he had a second, and Jey Uso left, pissed off, and he left, right? And later on, there was another scene. This is all backstage and everything. Now Jimmy Uso did not talk to anybody else. He didn't talk to no reporters. No one asked him anything like that. So it's like, we really don't know why he's there, but we really do know why he's there. It's one of those things, right? So then, Jimmy's looking for Jey, finds Jey, and, tells Jey, yo, look, I just need a moment. Like, give me, like, a minute. And Roman, Jey Uso was like, no, get out of my face. And he walked away. So, there's that. Now, next week, Jey Uso has a rematch for Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship. I think that Jey Uso is going to lose the title to Braun Breaker, and then I don't know, that perhaps maybe Jimmy will come in for the save for Jey when Braun Breaker wins. Because here's the thing, I honestly think that perhaps maybe Solo might send part of the bloodline to cause Jey the match and for him to lose, and then the bloodline will jump Jey and Jimmy will save Jey. I think that's what's going to happen. Not sure. Seems like it would happen that way. I don't know how this is going to how it's going to be with Roman, because I mean, it could be Roman and Jey could, not Jey, Roman and Jimmy could come in and save Jey. Give that olive branch, I guess you can say, and stuff like that. Because that would be like, kind of like maybe Roman's way of saying, I'm sorry to Jey. But you also have like people like Rhea can talk to Jey, to talk to Jimmy or something, or Damian Priest or Cody Rhodes or Sami Zayn or something like that. I'm not sure. I think that Jey Uso loses the title due to the bloodline, and then maybe Jimmy and Roman come in for the save. I'm not really sure. We'll see what happens on SmackDown. We'll see what happens. We'll see what Roman says about Jimmy going to Raw to see Jey. I don't know what's going to happen, but if it was me, that's how I would pretty much do it and stuff like that. I honestly thought that they would wait until like the following week to have Jimmy come talk to Jey, but apparently they didn't. I guess they only got like 6 weeks now, so I guess they gotta like rush it. But I'm thinking I'm thinking by like the end of October, Jey, Jimmy, and Roman should all just be together. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. There was some other stuff, but I don't remember. And who cares? It was just, like I said, it was a mass show. Anyways, I don't think I have any other videos coming out. If I do, well then obviously you'll know. But until then, I guess I'll see you guys in my next video, whenever that is. Have a great day. Bye.